Everything is awesome. Everything is cool when you're part of a team. Everything is awesome when we live in our dream.
I am currently going through a transition phase in my life after falling into a bit of a slump. Moved out by myself in the process of applying to business school to get out of a job that I have come to hate. Coming to emotional terms with some things I apparently have suppressed most of my life. Part of this transition has involved me throwing myself out there and actually taking in all of the opportunities Chicago has to offer.
I decided to participate in Fear Experiment for numerous reasons. I wanted to try something new. I wanted to get off my butt and move. I'm a Libra. Can you say procrastinator? I wanted to start and finish something that I really want to do and not give up or just walk away if I got bored. I wanted to meet new people and hopefully make new friends. I wanted to surround myself with folks that are positive and share that emotion and sentiment. And I wanted to feel good, really good about myself.
I feel I've always been more of an observer than a participant, and I'm tired of sitting on the sidelines and watching fun experiences pass me by because of fear of embarrassment, fear of change, financial concerns, etc. There's a line from the movie The Holiday that has always kind of stuck with me and goes something like this: "You're supposed to be the leading lady of your own life, for God's sake." And as cheesy as that movie may be, the sentiment is refreshingly honest and makes me think of the ways I can keep improving my own life and be that leading lady. I hope to harness the courage that I have gained through this experience thus far and apply it to other aspects of my life and become a more confident and happy me.
So last year was kind of a doozy. If I were a melodramatic 20-something, I would say it was a quarter-life crisis. I moved across the country to Chicago where I barely knew anyone. I bought a foreclosed condo and spent the whole summer fixing it up with power tools I didn't really know the names of. I started my dream job, and I also lost 27 pounds. I needed something that would knock me on my butt, but hopefully laughing this time.
I just moved back to Chicago, and I was looking to make some new friends. Also, I'm single, so maybe I'll meet a nice lady as well.
Since I moved to the city about 4 months ago, it's been hard to meet new people. The traditional way of meeting people at bars has never worked well for me. I'd prefer to meet people through friends or in situations like FE. I love the idea of bringing together people who don't know each other. It takes some of the anxiety out of the first meeting.
Between family stuff, work, failed relationships, and bumpy transitions, I feel like life has gotten so serious in the past several years. I feel like the time I've spent in the corporate world has crammed my personality into a professional little box where I smile politely and can expertly deliver experienced counsel. While I know I have this lighthearted, funny, creative side to me, I feel like I've become very afraid of showing that to people for fear of not being taken seriously. I want to figure out how to balance that better so I can be more real with myself and the others around me. That, and I just really miss laughing hard. I could use some of that in my life, big time.
I actually took a class in improv. I spent my time fearing that every possible move I would, that every possible move I made would be a mistake and that I would be judged a failure. I also went to see improv shows in the city. I did see a lot of failure, but some shows that included moments of failure were still incredibly entertaining. The difference between the performances that failed and were cringeworthy and the shows that included lots of failure but were still fun and hilarious, it was fear. The performers who weren't afraid communicated joy. Improv gives me a chance to make mistakes and to learn how to not give a damn about it. When someone says something that is quote, wrong on stage, who are the rest of the performers to say that it's in fact wrong? The truth is, when you really say something wrong in the sense of it being something you never meant to say at all, that is the purest form of improv. Two performers on stage, and something just got stated that neither of them ever thought would come out of their mouths. Yes, it can be dangerous in real life, but it's also potential magic. I want to use that magic as a tool to overcome fear of failure. And I also want to say something to the gentleman in the audience. I want to help to figure out a way to get more males to apply for Fear Experiment. It makes no sense to me. We're missing out on a huge opportunity for joy and transformation. We men are too proud sometimes. I got lucky and stumbled onto something great.
I'm at a fresh start in my life. I recently broke up with my boyfriend of 8 years. I've been doing a lot of soul searching, and I need to kickstart my butt into some new social scenes and try new things, and this seemed exactly like what I needed.
At the info session, you mentioned the reasons why people do Fear Experiment, and I believe I answered yes to each one. I want to get out of the rut I'm in. I would like to get out of my house and do something fun. I moved into the city 3 years ago from the suburbs, something I've always wanted to do and finally did. My friends always say you must have such a great time living in the city. There's so much to do and you can do things by yourself. Truth is, I'm afraid to do things by myself. Fear Experiment would give me the opportunity to start doing things by myself and do something that I've always wanted to do.
I always say in my next life I want to be a dancer. I am motivated by the physicality of pushing my body to do movements that I have not been trained in. I just moved to Chicago from New Orleans, and I'm looking for my community here. I love living life to the fullest and building meaningful relationships, and it seems like this is what this experience is all about. This year has been about making spirit moves. I describe spirit moves as taking a risk to live my most authentic life based on what I feel in my gut. My move to Chicago was a spirit move, and my enrollment as a spiritual life coach in a program was also a spirit move. I believe that FE is my next spirit move. Something about it just feels right. I feel like I'm amongst my people.
I have a steady job that pays my bills, a master's degree, which I lovingly refer to as my receipt for $60,000, and a wonderful husband. But I don't have any creativity in my life. I don't have any chance taking, and I don't ever break out of my routine. I am so very interested in finally taking a chance to do something that my friends would tell you would never cross their mind that I'd sign up for. Nearly everything about FE scares me. It took a long time to come to terms with how painfully shy I am and how difficult it is for me to make friends. I have very few of them and even fewer genuine friends. I'm nervous about the ability to walk into a group of strangers and walk out with 10 plus new friends. But I've also got that excited butterfly feeling you get deep inside when you meet someone you really like. I struggle with taking myself too seriously. I think that participating in FE will help me learn that it's okay to laugh at myself, to trip over my own feet, and that not everything needs to be assessed with the utmost gravity. People will still like me.
I want to try something out of the box. I enjoy trying something new, exciting, and just slightly off the radar. My friends often comment, "Girl, what are you doing now?" I would like to become a runner by my 45th birthday in July 2014. I want to run a 5K and live to tell the story. My hope is that I am chosen for FE, I get a head start on my workout routine. If I am lucky during this experiment, which I have been, I just might meet someone else to join me on that quest.
I want to do this because since I've gotten married and had children, I've slowly lost a passion for things that concern me. My life is supporting my family, and I think it would be a great opportunity for me to start the year 2014 with promoting self-love. So I can show my children, especially my daughter, that if you put your mind to it, you can do anything, and that being passionate about something and going for it can give you life.
I just got out of a bumpy relationship that forced me to confront some of my deepest insecurities and fears.
My ex-boyfriend decided to go to AA during the middle of our relationship and was relying on me for a large amount of support instead of a mentor. I got so wrapped up in trying to help him that my own dreams and goals had taken a back seat. I want to be an FE to refocus on myself and my journey to become a better person.
I swear I won't lose it this time. One of my fears is that I'm always worried is that I'm boring and that I'm not funny. I worry that people will find me dull. I sometimes clam up in conversations, even with my friends and with my partner, Anthony, thinking that I need to find something interesting to say. I'm also constantly comparing myself to many of my friends who are quick-witted. I think that challenging myself to try to be funny in front of hundreds will really get my mind moving away from that self-doubt. I'm also really afraid to fail at things, but I want this to be a place where I find failure to be just an opportunity to learn something new.
I always avoided dancing because I was scared of looking stupid in front of people. When I was in high school, I was invited to a party where I knew they were going to dance, so I had to come up with an idea. I decided to rub ketchup on the side of my sock, and when I got there, I showed them and said, "Yeah, I fell down the stairs at the train station. I'm just going to sit and watch." Everyone danced that night, and I felt like I was missing out big time. So I decided that dancing at Fear Experiment would provide me with that chance to redeem myself. Performing in front of a Fear Experiment audience would really be the biggest achievement of my life when it comes to getting out of my comfort zone. And now I only use ketchup on my French fries.
For the past few years in my life, I have not concentrated on me. I feel like I have a gaping hole in me, and I'm scrambling to fill it with some good. I'm hoping that I can meet some good people who I can be friends with. Also, I love dancing, so this will get me to do something I'm passionate about. My scare factor is if I will be able to balance a full-time job, take care of my 2-year-old, and attend rehearsals and do a good job. Thank you. Though I'm not going to read from the paper, a few weeks into the Fear Experiment, I lost my dad, and it has been a rough patch. Though I missed a month's rehearsal, these people have been great to me, and I'm here doing this because of,
I've always wanted to perform and be on stage, but at the age of 13, my life got hijacked by addiction. As of today, I'm still looking to fulfill that dream. For 15 years, my life was ruled by fear. Today, almost 8 years away from a drink or a drug, I live fearlessly. Although it does creep in often, I do my best to push myself to accomplish all that I can in this short life.
I initially thought I wanted to do FE because I am tired of being a rehearser. I'm constantly envisioning scenarios in which I think, if she says A, then I'll say B. But if she says X, then I'll say Y instead. I now realize that FE is about so much more than the art form. Now I want to do FE not only for the improv experience, but I also want to do it for the entire experience. The connections, the lasting relationships, the community, the fun, the laughter, the everything. Maybe I'll learn to relax a little, or maybe I won't. I think there are way bigger things to gain and to learn from FE than that alone. I think the true scare factor for me is the commitment. My husband works for United Airlines, and we have the luxury of being able to get on a plane at a moment's notice to jet off to more desirable locations, especially in the wintertime. I realized the rehearsal schedule would definitely interfere with our ability to just pick up and go away for the weekend. What a bummer, since wintertime is the very time you want to get out of town. But then I started thinking that I'm afraid of a lot more than losing my flexibility to travel. I'm afraid of making a commitment to being here, to being in Chicago for the long term. I have been dreading the cold, the short days, the endless days of boredom inside. I've been dreading all the things that I thought made my first 2 winters here so unbearable. But during the FE info session, I realized that it has been unbearable because I have not really extended myself yet. I complain about having few friends, about not being able to meet people here, about being stuck inside all winter, all the things that make me want to move from Chicago. Now I realize I haven't done much in the way of committing to Chicago or putting myself out there. In fact, anytime the going has gotten tough, I have simply gotten on a plane to escape. But by constantly escaping, I have not allowed myself to build the types of connections and relationships that I know would make Chicago much less desirable to escape.
Honestly, I'm at a time in my life that I feel a bit confused as to how I got to this point where I feel like I'm a boring person and I don't have much that I look forward to. I have lost my sense of joy and it seems like all I do is work. Many of my good friends have moved out of Chicago and or have kids, and I'd really love to meet new people and make genuine friendships again. I have an amazing and loving husband, but I still need and want something for myself, especially since he works restaurant hours. I am looking to add something to my life that I genuinely enjoy going to and can be excited about. I also think that physical activity could be amazing for my seasonal affective disorder, SAD, and help me not dread this winter. I am desperately seeking something that reminds me that there are things to be passionate about in life.
Three days before the Fear Experiment information session, my husband and I split up after 13 years. I almost didn't go to the session, but I knew that I couldn't become a hermit. During orientation, I connected so deeply to the idea of Fear Experiment that for the first time in 3 days, I felt like I had something positive to look forward to during this very difficult time in my life. To me, it's not about the dance or improv, but about the people and connections. I moved to Chicago 6 years ago and have tried different avenues of meeting people, a Unitarian church meetup and girlfriend circles, but have always found it hard to make any real connections when there's no stability in those groups, and I'm constantly meeting new people. I need an environment where I can count on the same people being there, and I love the fact that people connect long after Fear Experiment. I'm very isolated and don't have a chance to be social. I work remotely and I go to school online. The only stable person in my life was my husband until we split. I've been so isolated for so long that I've retreated into a shell. I want to come out of my shell again, so yeah, I really need this.